Hey guys and girls, King Lear here from Proceed to Checkpoint, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy XIV dungeon guide. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Aery, which is the third dungeon that is unlocked in the Heavensward expansion pack. Once again, this is going to be a tactics guide for each of the bosses. This is the first time I've done the fight recorded and shown to you with the tactics we used included. Better tactics and better guides may be available as the expansion progresses, but for now, this should be a good starting point to help you through this dungeon. I do want to make two quick callouts before we start the video. I'm trying a new technique here in terms of having a menu to look at each of the bosses that you want to view separately, and the title screen and an introduction to each boss and things like that. So let me know if you've watched the previous ones, what you think of the new format. And in addition to that, there will be some minor story spoilers in this dungeon. It's unavoidable. One of the bosses is a spoiler. If you're at the stage where you are doing this dungeon, you will already know who that is, so you can feel free to watch ahead. I'm not including any of the cutscenes or anything. If you're not at the stage in the story where you are required to do this dungeon, then just be warned that one of the bosses may spoil the story for you slightly. So apologies for that. You have been forewarned. Without further ado, let's jump into the bosses and the tactics. The first move to pay attention to in this particular fight is called Electrical Cachexia. This is an AoE that fills the outside of the arena. So when the boss is casting this, everyone should hug the boss and get in close, because anyone standing outside of his immediate surrounding is going to be hit by lightning and damaged. As soon as the move is done, you can move back out, but when it's cast, make sure you're hugging the boss with the rest of the group to avoid damage from this ability. The second move to pay attention to in this fight is called Ionospheric Charge. This will put a circular AoE around the members of the party when it finishes casting. It'll do this a couple of times. It's not just one, there'll be 2 or 3 at a time. You need to get out of that circle before you're hit by lightning. Gives you a bit of time, so it should be easy enough to get out of it, but it does target the majority of the party, so most of you are going to have to move when he casts this ability. Now, if you miss the cast on it, it will say on screen, Rangda's cry summons the Heaven's Fury, so at least you know to expect to move. In addition to the AoE, one random party member will be tethered at this stage. It'll be obvious, large purple tether coming from the boss to the party member. If they don't break that tether, then they'll be hit for a lot of damage, and this can be a one-hit kill on classes that are particularly low HP. In order to get the tether off you, you need to run to one of the blackened statues around the arena. Once you're standing beside that statue, then the tether will go onto the statue, the lightning will hit the statue, and the statue will break. The thing to note is you need to pass that tether onto the statue, and once you do so, the statue will be gone, so the next party member will have to use a different one. Next move to watch out for in this fight is called Electrocution. When the boss finishes casting this, large streams of lightning will shoot out in straight lines across the arena. If it hits you, it hits for a good chunk of damage. To be perfectly honest, I'm warning you about this move. I'm not 100% sure how to avoid it. We didn't see any particular patterns. It was cast 2 or 3 times during the fight, and it was in a different position each time. Didn't see any targeting markers to indicate where or who it was going to be cast on. So at this point in time, I don't have enough information to tell you how to avoid this. All I'm saying is expect it to come. If someone figures out a way or a pattern to this, please drop it in the comments. I will put it in the description of the video, so have a look if you're watching this a couple of days later, and maybe the description of the video will have a solution for this, but just expect this ability. Finally, the boss will summon an ad. He doesn't seem to have many special moves, he's low HP, easy enough to take down, so just make sure to kill him as quickly as possible. And that is the entire fight for the first boss. Hopefully you have defeated Rangda and are on to the next one. The second boss in the dungeon, Gaiskutus, is that how you pronounce that? I have no idea. Has one real mechanic to pay attention to. He does have a body slam that's fairly standard stuff at this stage, so I'm not even going to cover it. His main mechanic is he will cast Fall of Man on a random party member. It's a large circle AoE on the party member that the party member has to get out of. Each time he casts this, a poison cloud will be left behind in the arena. After he's done this a couple of times, mustard bombs will begin to spawn. These mustard bombs will suck up the poison clouds. What you want to do is let the mustard bomb suck up 1, maybe 2 poison clouds and then kill it. If it sucks up too many, it will explode. If you kill it before it sucks up any, then you're going to have your whole arena covered in poison clouds and it's going to be very difficult to move. What you need to do, let it suck up 1 or 2, it'll gain a stack or 2 of its buff, and then you can safely kill it at that stage. That is literally the only mechanic for this fight, so if you bear that in mind, you should clear this no problem. The first move to be aware of with Nidhogg is the Scarlet Price. He will look at a player and he will begin to spit an AoE where that player is standing. If you move, he doesn't follow you, he'll spit it where you were standing when he started to cast. So you can look at his movements and dodge this. When the AoE lands, it will create a bubble in the area the player was standing. After he casts a couple of these, the bubbles will rush to the outside of the arena and damage anyone caught between the edge of the arena and them. This does appear on the screen predictably to show you their pattern, so it's easy enough to dodge. The next move to be aware of with this boss is Sable Weave. The boss will target a random player and, without any cast timer, bring them up into the air suspended on the Sable Price. The Sable Price is targeted, it's a mob, you need to kill this. While the player is suspended on the Sable Price, the boss will be casting an ability called Sable Weave. If he casts Sable Weave before you kill the Sable Price and lower the player back to the floor again, the player will die. Obviously this is very problematic, especially if it hits the healer, but if it hits a DPS, you're going to be fucked for the next phase, so you need to make sure to kill this Sable Weave. You cannot complete this fight with a player dead. One final thing to be aware of with this boss, but probably the most crucial mechanic. At 30%, the boss will jump into the air and begin to spawn adds. He'll be unattackable, but there will be a lot of adds to deal with. You need to gather all of the adds that spawn at Estinian and nuke them down as quickly as possible. When the adds die, Estinian will create a protective shield which the entire party must stand under. If the adds don't die on time and the protective shield doesn't pop, then the entire party will wipe. If someone is standing outside the shield when the boss returns to the ground, then the entire party will wipe. So to avoid this, gather all of the adds so you're already standing at Estinian, nuke them down as quickly as possible, and then as soon as the shield pops, you should be all under the shield already. The boss will return to the ground, you'll survive as long as you've done it right, and the fight will continue with the mechanics mentioned before. That's the final mechanic for this fight. As long as you bear that in mind, you should get through it no problem. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I tried a new format with this video. It's much more organized than the previous ones. I have the menu bar so that you can skip to the individual bosses that you want if you're just looking for a particular boss. And as well as that, if you look on the top right of the menu, there is a quick boss reference as well. So if you have a second screen, you can have that up there during the boss fight. So at a glance, you know what to do. Let me know what you think of that style. If it's popular, then I'll continue to do it for the rest of the videos, because I do think these are a big improvement on the previous ones. But of course I want your feedback. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. More Final Fantasy content will be coming as I play through the expansion pack. And please, if you've enjoyed this, leave me a like and a comment. This video took quite a while to edit, so it'd be good to know that you appreciated it and it helped. If it didn't and you have feedback for me, please, that is just as welcome. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time on Proceed to Checkpoint.